So as Rick mentioned and Kiefer mentioned, we have margin awareness built into the next release of Miva, 26R1. And so what I'm going to talk about is a little bit of why. I'm going to rehash a little bit about Vexture and those features again. I've one video that you saw this morning, so the time doesn't work great, but we're going to watch it again. And then I'll show you actually the details of how those features actually work and how you can apply them to your business. So we'll get a little more granular into the margin awareness piece. And so why should you care about margin awareness? I mean, it's obvious, but I'm going to kind of rehash this over and over again throughout these slides. As e-commerce store owners, as business owners, we spend a lot of time looking at things like top line revenue. A lot of times looking at Google Analytics with conversion rate. A lot of times optimizing, if you do a bunch of ad spend, right, optimizing ad spend. But at least in my experience, and I've worked with a lot of you and over the years, there's less time spent trying to maximize profit, right? Because profit is a little harder to calculate. You have your margin on your products, you have all your hard costs from running your business, and that's the end of the day. Is the profit is kind of what you take home as a business owner, what you're making. So two orders could have vast, with the same revenue, could yield vastly different outcomes based off the margin for those particular products. So you want to be aware of margin at every level of the business. And so what we're doing as a product is we want to make sure that you have the information that you need to be able to make those decisions. So question for the audience, who today is using the cost field or a custom field or some field in Miva to store what your cost is on a particular product? Oh, that's actually more than I expected. Okay, great. So there's about 8 or 10 of you. So another question, do you have that data, or by a show of hands, who has that data that you reference or do anything with? A few, okay. So that's what we're trying to get at, is that we want to, you want you to put that data into Miva, and we want to make that data actionable so you can do more with it, sell more, and ultimately make more money. So very, very simple example here, right? This is, again, obviously, it's obvious and it's clear, but just focusing on top line revenue is not the end goal, right? Everyone's here to make money, and you want to make sure at the end of the day that you're making money. So if you have a business that does $10 million, but only a 4% margin, well, at the end of the day, when you do your taxes, you're taking home $400,000 versus a $5 million business that has higher margin, you're making more money. And so everyone here obviously wants to be business B, and so we're going to give you the tools to help extract a little bit more margin, more profit from your existing Miva store. All right, so what's the opportunity? So what are we actually talking about here? We're talking about taking the products that have more profit, have higher margin, and promoting them, right? So things like upsell, cross-sell, making sure customers see those in more places. We're talking about visibility of those products, right? Putting them on the homepage. We're talking about search, right? When a customer searches for a particular set of keywords, the products the results that display, being able to resort those by profit or by margin. And then, on the ad spend side, having visibility into that data, you can then take those learnings and apply it to how you want to promote those products in various other channels. All right, so again, going deeper into this, not all products are created equal, right? Everyone here, you have different products that have different margin. You have some that have very low margin, some that have high margin. I don't know, is 70%, who here has products that have 100% or more margin that you sell? A few. How about 50% or more? How about 20% or more? A few more, okay. So, your margin's all over the place depending on what you actually sell, right? The very simple example here is that selling one item of unit C generates just as much as 7 of item A. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Vexture merchandising. So we saw a little bit of this morning. We're going to kind of rehash it, and I'll try and give you some more color, context, some more details here, right? So Vexture is the AI search and merchandising engine. On the merchandising side, right, you have the ability to create these different prompts. These prompts can be used for different areas across the site to be able to control what products are shown as related products, what products are sold as shown as upsold. You can do it on the home page, the category page, the product page, the basket page. Really anywhere that you can use Page Builder is a great place for this. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into this because we went pretty deep already, but right, you have the ability to, the new Vexture search uses what's called a vector database. And so we take the product catalog, we send it up to an AI model that creates what's called embeddings. Those embeddings get sent back to Miva, and Miva then has those locally in its database. And so when someone's actually doing a search, it's not doing a keyword-based search. It's actually measuring the distance between the two products, which is why it's called the vector, and that's how it's able to come up with a score of how relevant that product is in a particular search query. And so we use that for search. That also works for the marketing engine, or sorry, the merchandising engine, to be able to show the right products at the right time to the customer, whether they're on a product, looking at a particular product, and you want to show upsell, cross-sell, on the basket page, right? What's in my cart? You can then use the merchandising tools to show other products that are related, that are similar. So you have a lot of flexibility there. Again, it's built into Miva. It just works. You can deploy it everywhere. Really nice tools around search and merchandising. Yes, we have the same video from this morning. I'll just rehash this really quickly.
Hi everyone, I'm Wilson, CEO of Miva. Today I want to show you another new capability of our e-commerce platform. It's our advanced AI-powered merchandising. As this search is built on Vexture technology and native to the platform. In reality, most of you have little time to go to online merchandising. Vexture do not mind that time. It uses natural language prompts and our no-code content management system to tell the platform what you want to promote and how. So let's take a look at our merchandising. It all starts with something. They're vibrant. They can be simple or they can be complex. In this case, it's a show products the shopper will be usually buying and the following item in their cart. Do not show the same product or variations of that product. And if there's nothing in their cart, show something from the screen as well. Once you've got your prompt done, the next step is to choose some products from your catalog via the app and see the results of your suggests. This is how you tune the outcome to make sure it's exactly what your shopper should see. Once you have the results tuned to your review, you use our no-code page builder printer to tune the page to look exactly how you want it, no coding required. So here on this example, you can see these results of just working showing up on the basket page to drive more upsell. You can continue to tweak this prompt or any prompt and create as many as you want to handle unlimited scenarios as well. Drastically improving the quality of search results, as well as eliminating zero results, is something you can do today. To get started, follow the instructions on the screen below. Starting pretty easy.
Okay, perfect. So let me show you an example of this. So this is a demo store that we have. One thing we did with this is that we actually took the products and we sent them to an AI model, or the images, and it actually it rewrote the description based off the image. And so if you have products that are descriptive, right, color, this works great for clothes, but it could be like a nut or a bolt or something like that that has something visual. You can actually use AI to write the descriptions. And what this allows us to do is, you'll see what I'm doing here is I'm searching for different colors. Let me go back and replay this. Right, so if I search for the black dress, it's finding black dresses because it knows what products have black, and then I can give it more context of formal black dress, and it gives me longer dresses, something that is more formal, right? Because it was able to look at those pictures and do the same thing with like a blue shirt. It gives me the shirts that are blue, and then finally, I do red summer dress. It knows summer is warm weather, so it show me warm weather clothes based off the description. So this is all Vexture. And then kind of here's the prompt-based merchandising. I'll show you a little video here. I click add a prompt. So I'm going to call it related products, and this is a similar one we did from the video. Then you put the prompt in there of what you want it to be. You can type it out, it can be anything you want. And you have preview results, and based off the basket contents, based off the product I'm looking at, it comes up with a search term. That search term then gets used to search into Vexture, and that's how it's able to show you products related to that. So all this is just context. And then this powers the upsell, cross-sell, right? Once you have that, you can put that anywhere across the site. It ties into Page Builder, makes it really easy. So all this is context, right? We talked about what margin is, why you should care about it. We talked about Vexture, merchandising, what it does. Now let's kind of tie this all back into the new margin awareness tools that are part of the next release. So it starts with calculating margin and profit. So this is a video from the product product page. So I'm added a new product, and you'll notice here, I think this works. Look at that. There's 2 new fields here for profit and for margin. And so we're automatically calculating those 2 things, and they're grayed out, so you can't actually edit them. Miva calculates that for you automatically. So the key to making this all work is you need to get the data into Miva, and it's this version right here, it's calculated off the cost. So I'm just doing price minus cost, but there's, as Kiefer said, there's different variations that you could use to put it in a custom field. But the core of this whole thing of being able to do actions based off margin is to have that cost in the Miva, or tell Miva, what your actual true cost is. We'll calculate the profit and the margin, and then we store that data at the product level. We make it available to you. This is also available in the batch list, available in product export. So once the data is here, really anywhere across the site you have products, you have access to this data. So here's where then you can tie it all into promoting those highest margin, highest profit products from within Vexture, right? There's a new margin tab at the product catalog level, and this is where you tell it the method you want to use to calculate the profit or the margin, right? Price minus cost, a custom field. There's a third option for a template. We can get pretty complicated. And then what we're doing is the relevant sort. So if you see here, the relevant sort, which is the default sort of the products that show up after you do a search, none means it's going to be the default sort, or you can have it sort by profit or sort by margin, right? And so this data is only going to be good, or this feature is only going to be good if you get the data into Miva. It overwrites the default sort, so you can then have profit be the sort that you want, or margin, and then the number of products that you want returned. So the settings are simple, but it's all going to be dependent on you having the right data from within Miva. Another nice use case, once you have this, is this profit and margin can be used in collections. Collections are just a group of products, so you can take collections and you can essentially set a set of rules that determines what product's part of that group. So in this case, right, I said give me all products where the profit is greater than 50. In that case, it's $50, but I also have access to margin, so I can do margin as a percent. But you can do anything you want with this, right? Once you have this, I can do high margin products, low margin products, products that fall within the particular range. And what's nice about collections is as you add new products or products get deleted or deactivated, the collection automatically updates. You don't have to maintain this, right? It's not like assigning a product to a category. You assign it to the collection continues to work, and then you can do actions based off that collection. So a few actions you can do. You could assign to a price group, right? You can run a discount. I want to create a coupon code, and only products that are in this high margin group are going to get this discount code. Or the reverse you could do, I want to create a coupon code, and I'm going to exclude all products in this collection because my margin's not high enough to be able to give a discount to this particular product set. So you can make marketing decisions based off the margin and profit data you have within the software. And then the final use case here is we talked about the AI insights. So here's a little video of this in action. So this is AI insights. So I can expand the panel. I can come here and I can ask a question. I'm saying, what are my most profitable products, right? You can get quite a bit more granular than that. Show me how much profit I made last week, last month. What are my most profitable customers? So once I do this, it's going to send up to the AI model and come back and say, okay, I have a couple products here. Here are my 2 most profitable products. Here's the profit. Here's the margin. Here's all the information about that. So all the information that's in your store, again, once we have the margin and the profit, we can then do a lot of things with them, including leverage them within the AI insights. And so that's kind of the surfaces, the different touch points of how you can leverage margin within your store, right? The core of it is that we need to know what your actual cost is. Once we have that, then we can surface that data for search, merchandising, promotions, as well as leverage it from within the AI insights panel. I think that's pretty good.